How often do you worry about nuclear power affecting your everyday health and safety? Do you know the detrimental effects it can have on our bodies and the environment? One woman has devoted her life's work to inform the public of the exact consequences nuclear power holds on our human race. She has been awarded over 21 honorary doctoral degrees, nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, and has been named one of the world's most influential women of the 20th century by the Smithsonian Institution. An anti-nuclear advocate, Helen Caldicott permanently left her medical teaching at Harvard to dedicate her time educating the public on the medical and moral hazards of nuclear power, war, and nuclear weapons. More specifically, she believes uranium mining and nuclear power both play a huge role in the increase of cancers, potential catastrophic terrorist attacks, and global warming. As a board-certified medical doctor, Helen Caldicott knows about the first-hand medical hazards of uranium mining. She has seen evidence that exposure directly correlates with the increase of cancers, tumors, and birth defects. She explains that living near a uranium mine greatly increases these chances, especially in children and unborn fetuses, as they are extremely radiosensitive. She cites an example that in Fukushima, the nuclear accident, half of Japan is now contaminated, and over 35,000 children under the age of 18 have all been diagnosed with thyroid tumors. The uranium particles are responsible for the mutations of genes. With each exposure to more uranium, your likelihood of developing unwanted cells or cancer increases. The various forms of daughter cells, which is forms of radiation emitted as the uranium decays, specifically target parts of the bodies and attack it, and this process is irreversible. The incubation time for this type of radiation damage is 5 to 70 years, so it can take a very long time, a lifetime, to see effects. Caldicott also explains that operating nuclear power plants also emit radioactive materials into the air that our bodies absorb. It is odorless, tasteless, and invisible, and also has a shelf life of 5 to 70 years. Caldicott also points out that these nuclear plants and uranium mines are the perfect site for terrorist attacks and provide technology for war that can have catastrophic effects. 30 tons of nuclear waste is produced every year at each nuclear reactor site. It is all stored in pools next to the reactors. A terrorist attack on a pool, which contains about 20 times more radioactive particles than the reactor itself, would be catastrophic to the people and the environment. An attack would be the end of all nuclear power. She notes that it is just a time bomb when either will happen, as security has not been tightened after 9/11, which one of the targets was a nuclear reactor 35 miles outside of Manhattan, New York. Countries have already been producing uranium bombs to be used in war for many years. Caldicott notes that after the bombing to Iraq in the 2000s, babies are now being born with massive gene mutations because their parents were exposed to such large amounts of radiation. Lastly, Caldicott points out that such nuclear reactor power plants do play a role in global warming. Fossil fuels that are used to mine uranium, which transport and store the radioactive waste, produce global warming gases. Presently, a gas-fired electricity generator emits 3 times more CO2 than a similar-sized atomic reactor. But as the supply of uranium declines, nuclear plants will in time generate as much CO2 as a gas-fired generator. Helen Caldicott firmly believes nuclear power plants and uranium mining play a firm role in the global warming and increase in cancers and birth defects in their areas. She notes it is just a matter of time till one terrorist attack upon a plant creates massive destruction and possibly leads to an all-out nuclear world war. She believes we all need to take action now to prevent such devastation that is occurring and will occur in the future. She says, quote, "It's much worse than exporting heroin, because heroin only affects the user, whereas this is going to affect all future generations." Helen Caldicott has dedicated her life to make sure the public is fully informed about the dangerous effects of nuclear power, and she won't stop until everyone has heard what she has to say.